Back now on Newsmax Prime, the black flag of ISIS. In the upper corner of that footage, the blackened hearts of terrorists who are apparently itching to bring their fight here to the United States. Let's continue our conversation now on Newsmax Prime as we welcome back in the former governor of the state of New York, giving us some FaceTime tonight from South Carolina, George Pataki, and joining us via Skype from New Jersey, former New York Police Commissioner Bernie Kerik, the author of the best-selling book From Jailer to Jailed. Gentlemen, again, we really appreciate your time here on Newsmax Prime. And George, I have to ask you this. What we're seeing and hearing today, is it a direct result of what might be termed an indulgent attitude toward Islamic extremism by the current administration?
Well, you call it an indulgent attitude. They don't even acknowledge that Islamic extremism exists. And you certainly can't fight an enemy that you're afraid to name. They are radical Islamic jihadists. ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Al-Shabaab, Boko Haram, they all have that in common, as well as a hatred of the United States of America and the values that we believe in. This administration has been passive. Our allies don't trust us. Our enemies don't fear us. And we have got to be proactive. We have to be aggressive and not look for polling or political campaign pledges, but look for the safety of the American people first. And that means taking out those training camps, recruitment centers, ability to use social media to recruit Americans here. We have to do it. And the sooner we do it, the safer we will be.
It is a paradox, Bernie Kerik, that this president and this administration, so adroit with the use of social media in a political campaign, seem to be falling so far behind now when it comes to issues of governance. Yes, we understand social media is important, but how important are some of the basics of police work and anti-terror tactics now here at home domestically, Bernie Kerik?
Well, I think one of the most important things, JD, and Jim Comey, the FBI director, mentioned this yesterday, how extremely important it is that local, state, and federal authorities are communicating, how important that communication is, the intelligence networks are. The reality is, as he said, the locals, meaning the local police, the local investigators, they will probably hear or see some of this stuff before the federal government, before the FBI, before federal investigators. So it's extremely important. And we've come a long way since September 10th of 2001 with our intelligence capabilities. But intelligence is going to be the success of fighting these people on the ground here. And it has to continue and get better every day.
George Pataki, in the wake of 9/11, and of course you and Bernie were there in Manhattan on that day, but in the wake of 9/11, there has been concern about, quote, returning to a September 10th mentality. Now, as a prospective president, how can you make the case to wake up those who may be slumbering or deluded or catching up with celebrity news rather than taking a look at this threat?
You know, I don't think the American people need any more to awaken them than what we've just seen of late. We've seen hundreds of Christians in Syria and Iraq beheaded by Islamic terrorists, by ISIS. We see slaughtering of universities of students in Kenya. And we just had, very fortunately, one police officer stop what could have been a massacre in Texas last weekend. If we haven't woken up by now, I believe the American people have, we'll never wake up until there's another attack, and that's too late. The problem is, it's not the American people, it's this administration. It's this administration that said ISIS was the JV team. It's this Obama administration that said that we would degrade ISIS over time, using Yemen as the model. Well, the Yemeni government has just fallen to Houthi rebels, radical Shia backed by Iran. If that's the model, we are in serious trouble. What we need to wake up are not the American people, but Obama, his team, and those charged with defending our freedom. And the sooner they do that, the more essential it is for us to have them do that so that we can feel safe here at home.
Bernie, we've got about a minute 30 remaining. You heard the governor. Do you agree with him? What about this notion of a 9/10 mentality becoming pervasive in the nation?
Listen, I think we have to be preemptive. We have to be proactive. And I think we have to come to the realization these aren't people you can negotiate with. There's no diplomatic solution here. There's no talking to this enemy. And as I've said on this show and every other show I've done in the past, the objective we have to kill them before they kill us. That's the bottom line, because that's their intent. There is no other mission for them other than to kill the Westerners, Christians, Jews, and anyone that is not a Muslim. That's what they believe, and they'll tell you that. So I think that's the way we have to go.
A very somber scenario out there. Governor Pataki, none of us want to see any further attacks on our soil. But George, might it take another domestic attack to really mobilize the nation? We have about 30 seconds for your answer.
I certainly hope not. The American people are aware we are at risk here at home right now. The Obama administration has to wake up. Its policies have failed. They have to be proactive, destroy those recruiting centers, training centers, social network facilities before they can continue to seek to attack us here. We have to do it today.
George Pataki, former governor of New York, joining us via FaceTime from South Carolina. And former New York Police Commissioner Bernie Kerik via Skype from New Jersey. You have our thanks. Bernie, of course, the author of the new book, From Jailer to Jailed. Well, you heard what George and Bernie had to say. What do you have to say? Is the threat legitimate? We'd love to hear from you. Send your comments to us via email, newsmaxprime@newsmaxtv.com. There's also Facebook and Twitter. And when we come back, more of an intelligence update in the war against terror. Stay tuned.